Hello boaters, welcome to Narrowboat Journeys. Shopping can be really hard work. In some previous videos which I've posted, I've shown you the easy ways to walk to the local shops. But of course, that's not always the case. It depends where I am. I move around quite frequently, and to be honest, most of the time going shopping is a real ordeal and it's very hard work. The Oxford Canal is generally very rural, and it's very rare that you're actually close to a shop. So I'm currently at Pigeons Lock on the South Oxford Canal, and the nearest shops, or nearest decent shops, would be in Kidlington, which is around about, I'd say, a 12.5 mile round trip by bicycle, or Bicester, which is about 14 miles round trip by bicycle. I usually choose Bicester because although it's a little bit further, the ground is more level, but it's still a long way, and very often you've got a prevailing westerly wind blowing in your face all the way back. I have to carry shopping on a rucksack, or in a rucksack. Also I've got a storage box on the back of my bike which I can get some extra food in. This can get really heavy sometimes. It's not unusual to carry sort of 10, maybe 15 kilos of food. I started off this morning, I left here at about 10:15. And I got back at 1:30 in the afternoon. You know, I did go into Bicester and have a wander around all the shops, but it just eats up so much of your day to do this sort of thing. The trip to Bicester is fairly straightforward, really, from Pigeons Lock, Kirtlington. We go up Mill Lane, which takes you, that's a rough track, no tarmac on that, but it takes you up to the village of Kirtlington, and then we go on down Aikman Street, which is an old Roman road. That's, as you would expect, very straight and fairly level. It's not too hilly, and that goes more or less straight to Bicester. But once you get into Bicester itself, there's an awful lot of traffic. The roads are quite unpleasant, really. Normally I can just go to Tesco's, which is on the outskirts of Bicester, but if I want to have a look around the charity shops and other places like that, then I'll need to go into the main part of the town itself, which I did today, and it did take a bit longer. So I've just got back with rucksack and bike. It's not too heavy today actually, it was quite a small shop so it wasn't too bad. There's the rucksack. And also I keep stuff in the back of my box on my bike, which does take quite a lot of weight off my shoulders. Can't get an awful lot in there though. I tend to put all the really heavier things in there. Let's see what I've bought. Milk. Mustn't forget cat food. They're on the cheap stuff. Ready meal. What else have I got here? Reduced multi-pack of crisps. Donuts. Cheap pizza, cheap chocolate, dented tins, 9p for peas, another dented tin, 13p for those, a very dented beef curry for 45p, normally £1.50, so hopefully it won't kill me. Dented baked beans, 8p. And then I got ibuprofen, cheap tuna, and cheap chicken paste. I dine like a king. It all came to about £7 something. I've just got back from shopping and I'm pretty tired. I don't probably think I'll do an awful lot more today other than record this vlog. In other locations it can be even worse. Nell Bridge, for example, the nearest shops to there would be in Banbury, which probably about 6 or 7 miles, but the road itself is not very nice, so I usually choose to go to Brackley from there, and that's at least 9 miles each way and quite hilly as well. It's a pleasant ride, I quite enjoy it, but to do it on a regular basis is quite difficult. Added to that, one other problem I've got, of course, is that I don't have a fridge on the boat anymore. I used to have a gas fridge, and that was good. Eventually it broke, and it used to devour gas quite a bit. A bottle of gas, a 13-kilo bottle of Caleb propane gas would last me about a month, and that would be running the fridge, the cooker and the water heater. Now that the fridge is gone, I get about 2 months out of a gas bottle, and without the water heater then probably a gas bottle would last 3-4 months plus. Storing food in the winter is not too bad. I've got a little cool box, which is just an insulated box. It doesn't actually do any cooling, and that's in the crutch, the front end area of my boat. It gets quite cold in there usually in the winter, so if I buy chilled foods or frozen foods, it'll stay cold, and for probably several days to a week I can keep things in there. Then in the summer it's a completely different matter. The crutch gets very warm because it's got like a tarpaulin cover on it. It's like a greenhouse in there sometimes, so food just doesn't keep very long at all. And in the summer I have to really go shopping pretty much every day, or I'm eating sort of tinned or dried foods instead, which is my diet does actually suffer in the summer when it's hot. So in some respects winter is better for me. I really couldn't manage without a bike. That is the most essential thing really. I've got 2 bikes. I've got a mountain bike which I use mainly for short runs, and also if it's muddy, because it's got nice sort of knobbly tyres on it, it's quite good. I've also got an electric hybrid bike, and I tend to use that one for the longer distance runs. Trouble is charging it in the winter is very difficult because all my power comes from solar, and solar power is very limited in the winter. I'll do another vlog about that another day. But it does help. I mean, you know, I can cover quite long distances on it. It just struggle. I'm getting older now, and I'm finding it definitely harder and harder to do. In quite a few places along the canal, of course, they will have little local village shops that you can use, but they tend not to have very much to choose from, and they also tend to be very expensive. So if you're short of cash, it's far from ideal. Of course, that doesn't really apply to a lot of holiday makers. They're just interested in picking up a few supplies, some milk, bread and eggs, and then the rest of their food probably comes from pubs. Sorry about the lighting in this boat. It's getting more problematic as the year goes on, really. I'd need to get some video lights at some point. It's different in every location as well. You know, the sun will be at a different angle, and now it's coming on for winter time. The sun is low in the sky, and so it shines through the windows just that bit more. Anyway, this video has just been like a little snapshot of my everyday life, really. I have to go shopping like this probably at least 3 times a week, and it occupies a lot of time. It does get in the way of things, really. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.